We want to calculate these two integrals, the integral of pi dx and the definite integral of -1 to 4 pi dx. So when it comes to the integral of pi dx, pi is a number. It's not a variable. It is different from the integral of x dx. So please pay attention here. When you have the integral of k dx, it becomes kx plus c. Your k in this case is pi. So in calculating this integral, this becomes pi, the integral of dx. And as a quick note, the integral of dx is the integral of 1 dx, which is x plus c. So now that you have pi in front of your integral, it is pi x plus constant of integration, which is c. Now in the definite form, the integral from a to b of k dx is kx, while x ranges between a to b, which becomes k times b minus a, or kb minus ka. So following the formula here, you get pi times x, and your x ranges between -1 to 4. So you have pi times 4 minus, just be careful here, use parentheses. -1 goes inside parentheses. So you have pi times 4 plus 1, or 5 pi. To differentiate between these two types of integrals, the definite integral has a final answer, which is a number. For indefinite integral, you end up with a variable like x, pi x plus constant of integration c. We can make it more interesting. Instead of pi, we can use any other number like square root of 3. Take a look here. I'm going to find the definite and indefinite integral of the following. Suppose I ask you to calculate the integral of square root of 3 dx, and also I ask you to calculate the definite integral -4 to -1 square root of 3 dx. In calculating the integral of square root of 3, we're basically calculating k dx, which is kx plus c. Your k is square root of 3, it's just a coefficient. So this integral becomes square root of 3 times x plus c. Remember that you can always take the derivative and check to see the derivative is the same as the quantity inside the integral or not. So if you are not sure, you can always check your work. How do we check the work? You can take the derivative of square root of 3x plus c. The derivative is the derivative of square root of 3 times x, which is just square root of 3. The derivative of c as a constant is 0. So you end up with square root of 3, which is indeed the quantity inside your integral. Now for the definite part. Remember that the integral of k dx when x is bounded between a and b is equal to kx when x is bounded between a and b, or kb minus ka, or k parentheses b minus a. So in this case, you can write this guy as square root of 3 times x, and x is bounded between -4 and -1. Just be careful here when you're dealing with the negative numbers. You get square root of 3, you plug in -1, and you have a subtraction in between. This subtraction goes here minus, and it affects the second value, which is -4. So you have square root of 3 times -1 plus 4. You get square root of 3 times 3, or 3 times square root of 3. Note the difference between the final answers here and here. The final answer, as you see on the left-hand side, is a function in x, but the final answer on the right-hand side is just a number. So this is just a number, but here you have a function in x. That's the main difference between taking the integral of a coefficient of a number and taking the integral of a variable. And again, please pay attention to the formula. The integral of x dx is squared divided by 2 plus constant of integration, which is different from the integral of k dx. K is just a number, but if you have x inside the integral, you end up with x squared divided by 2.